Hey, buongiorno, eh? On this episode of Garage Formosa, it's no more larders, no more Soviet, no more Russian, no more rust. It's all about the bush. Daryl's bush. Daryl's bush is in his car.
This guy. Yeah, you're right, guys. I am doing the bushes in my car. I have an astronomical squeak, as you've heard. No matter what I hit in my car on the road, whether it be bumps, speed bumps, rocks, sticks, anything, I get an ear-piercing squeak. So we've narrowed it down to the upper and lower control arm bushes. So that's what we're going to replace. I have replaced the entire suspension in this car. It wasn't that, but that's the easiest place to start for anybody. So while we're there, we will replace the sway bar bushes. It's only an extra 4 bolts, so we'll show you that as well. But yeah, how awesome is that? I get to get the squeak out of my car.
And even more awesome than that, someone somewhere has seen our videos and went, yes, that is something that I want to be a part of. I want a piece of that action. We have got a supporter for the channel, as much as it's hard to believe.
Beautiful. Yeah, as you guys have just seen, Jay, who is it?
Whiteline. It's Whiteline. Holy.
Yeah, we are over the moon with these guys. We are so happy to welcome them on board and for them to support us. So we've got so much more planned to do with them. Jay's going to put a lot of work into his car as well. We're going to replace absolutely every bush on this via Whiteline. And yeah, Jay, we'll start chucking them at your car, and yeah, we'll see if we can. I'll just get that all tight.
Throw stuff at it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Try and get rid of some bumpsteer.
Yeah, so we're so excited to have them on board, guys. We'll drop a code down the bottom for you guys to use if you want to go buy anything for your car from them. So yeah, so stoked to have them on board. Let's kick into it, Jay. I'm stoked. Let's go.
Kick it!
Right, guys, so we've had a slight change of plans here. We're actually going to be doing some work on Jay's Evo 8. What are we going to do on this one?
It was a pretty simple little kit. It's just a rear bump steer correction kit. Pretty simple, but I think it's kind of interesting. So
yeah, well, hopefully we can make the drive that a little bit nicer.
Hopefully.
Righto, let's get into it.
So these are the bushes we're putting in the Evo. It's actually a rear bump steer correction kit. Hopefully make it drive a little bit better. This one here is KCA 388, which is Evo 4 to Evo 9. It's going in the Evo 8 though. But he's meant to be good bang for buck, so we'll see how she goes. Inside there's just sticker, instruction, some sort of card, does something. Some bush lube, because you want to grease it up. You don't want to go and dry. So the actual kit itself is just these. So they're just replacement upgraded bushes. But the main bit is these with the offset hole, the inner tubes. So they're just offset that's pretty much where it all comes from. So throw these in and see how she goes. And obviously get a wheel alignment afterwards, which I probably need to do anyway, so let's do it. Alrighty, so because we're not actually going to use a hydraulic press, I'm not going to take this off. You can if you want it and make it a bit easier, but it's easier for me. So unbolt that, unbolt this from in here, swing it down. There's enough to swing that out here to actually work on it. Obviously if you've got a hydraulic press, just remove it and push it out, but we're doing it without one, so let's get into it. Alright, so these are the two kits that I have to push out bushes in cars. This is the one I have been using. Mostly this one here. I haven't used those three at all. I've used that sometimes, but I have used this a bit. So it's good because you can just put the job in there and then wind that in and out to push it out. On the downside is it all moves around, so it does take a bit of cocking about to get it to line up properly. But it is really, really good. I haven't actually had any that's fit so far, it's just too thick. So that's the one that I'll be using, this end one here. But I did buy this kit the other day. I've only used it a couple of times since, but it's fantastic. So this is just a cheap Chinese one. You just have all these dies. Oops. You just have all these dies that you place on these, put in this threaded rod, and then you just wind it in, or wind it out. The couple of times I have used it, it was fantastic. Unfortunately, these are all too big to fit this particular job. However, if you're going to do bushes a lot, this was really good. I mean, the hydraulic press is the best to do the jobs, but same thing if you're not going to remove it. These are really, really good. However, it doesn't fit. It's too big, so I'll be using this one, and that one in particular. Alright, so it needs to come from this side. As you can see, it's tapered. The other side's just flat. So, go in that way. But obviously, unless you're one serious unit, you can't just push it in. I'll do a bit of reusing. I'll push him in. Alright, so it's pushed through, sitting in there nicely. Now all that's got to go through is this inner tube. Now remember, this offset hole has to be to the bottom. There. Directly down. And you do grease the inside of this. You can tell because there's little sort of divots for the grease to sit in. I can't remember the proper name, but yeah. Anywhere it's smooth, you generally don't put grease on these type of bushes, and anywhere that's got like little divots, you do, because that's for the grease to sit in. Place them down. Now we swing that back in, bolt it all together, go for a wheel moment, and see how she goes. Let's finish him. Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. Yeah, so just driving around, seeing what she's like. Oh, that car's got a lot of damage. And, yeah, it does feel a bit different. I mean, that could be the wheel alignment talking, or a bit of both. I'm assuming a bit of both, but it does feel a bit better in the arse end. Not a huge amount. And obviously, it's a street road, so I'm not going to be doing anything silly. But, you know, you can kind of feel it in roundabouts and things like that. As we are now. It does feel a bit better, actually. That did feel a bit better before. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, it just feels a little bit better. I don't know how much of that is the wheel alignment, but pretty good. There is also a front bump steer correction kit, which I don't have. I would like to get that next, but there's also about a million other things I'd like to get. So, that's it for this episode, and that's it for this install. There's nothing too sort of interesting, but I mean, I found it really interesting because I've never put one in before. I've just done like poly bushes. So, don't know what the next episode will be. Probably not on the Evo, although I really do need to get it tuned. It looks like a diesel when you take off. It soots up, which I know a lot of them do anyway. It's Evo life and all that. But it does really need to be tuned. I don't think I'll do E85. But I got a pump to go in and a 3-port boost solenoid. But that'll have to go in at the dyno, because I'll drive it there. It's in Brisbane. I'm in the Gold Coast. So that'll be a future episode. Possibly before the larder. I'm still waiting on parts for the larder. It just takes so long. But it's so worth it. Because there is no other larders in this area that I know of. And most people that look at it go, well, what's that? So, see you in the next episode, whatever that may be. Bye.